Welcome to The Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We've had some great episodes, great interviews with the teams behind some of the biggest projects out there: Pixel Vault, Art Blocks, Robotos, the Doge Pound, Oniforce, Crypto Dads, Lazy Lion, Supduck, Wall Street Bulls, Sappy Seals, and this week we also interviewed World of Women, one of the top 20 projects out there. We got many, many more interviews coming soon, also some NFT merch and some giveaways. Today, we're going to be talking about Apecoin, one of the biggest crypto launches of all time, and of course, coinciding with the Bored Ape Yacht Club and several NFT collections. So we'll be breaking down the math, how much people could have made, from the beginning, from recent, and what's next for Apecoin. Is this going to die off today, or is there more momentum coming? Stay tuned. This is The Roadmap. All right, everyone. As you heard me say, this is The Roadmap, Benzinga's NFT show. We've got a good one today. I know there is a ton of excitement out there about Apecoin. It is one of the biggest storylines out there. And of course, Brian and I were even talking about it yesterday. And then we got news late last night that it was going to be dropping today. Well, it is live. So we're going to be breaking that down. Before we get into that, I do want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, FTX US, which is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users. The FTX app is used by over 6 million people to buy crypto and NFTs. No transaction or withdrawal fees. You can use your phone or computer, and the FTX US trading platform offers NFT trading on both the Ethereum and Solana blockchains with no gas fees. To find out more, click on the link in the description below and also pinned to the chat. So if you do not have an FTX account, go ahead and check them out. And I mean, shout out to FTX, one of the many companies that added Apecoin today. So if you had an FTX account, you were able to get into Ape possibly early. So again, a shout out to them. Without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on my co-host, Benzinga's own Brian Moir. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, excited about this Apecoin launch. Excited about a lot of things, actually. I'm trying to close out a couple browsers because it keeps on freezing. So if I freeze right now, just bear with me and everything should be fine in just a second.
All good, and you got your green on. It's St. Patty's Day. I don't have my green on. I do have my blue behind me because, of course, I have blue every day, but also a shout out to the Michigan Wolverines, who are currently playing right now, and it is very distracting to try to do this show and watch. And Brian, I'm excited. I know what you're going to say, because if Tennessee wins later and Michigan holds on to win today, we're going to have an exciting across-state rivalry game in round 2 of Michigan versus Tennessee, which would be Chris versus Brian. So that'll be exciting. I picked both teams to win, so I'm hoping for both to win that first round, but we'll see what happens, and that'll be exciting. Yeah, and we got Logan in the chat saying go blue. We do have quite a few Michigan Wolverines working at Benzinga. And how about that? Zen Bullish. We like more of more. That could be your new catchphrase, Brian.
A good one.
All right. Well, a very exciting day, Brian. And, I feel like when we plan out the weeks, right, sometimes we're like, okay, we've got this interview Tuesday. Wednesday, we can talk about, X, Y, and Z. And then Thursday, we can talk about, some upcoming projects and just kind of, go through any news that happened. Well, here we are Thursday, and we have probably the biggest news of the week, possibly the biggest news. I mean, I'd say of the month, but I mean, Yuga Labs had that acquisition last week, so it's very hard to top that. But let me run through some of the news items on Apecoin, and then I'll have Brian jump in here. We're going to be talking about this for a while, so we'll kind of break it down by section. So Apecoin is an ERC20 governance and utility token. It debuted today. It was launched by ApeDAO, and it will be used for culture, gaming, and commerce to build out the Web3 efforts. There will be a total supply of 1 billion Apecoin tokens. The majority of that is split between NFT owners and the ApeDAO. So 150 million coins going to NFT owners that could claim the coin this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. They have 90 days to claim. The DAO is going to have 470 million coins in its treasury. So those two numbers together is 62% of the supply. The remainder is 150 million coins to Yuga Labs, 16%, around 10 million coins to the Jane Goodall Legacy Foundation charity, 14% to launch contributors, and 80 million coins to the 4 Bored Ape Yacht Club founders. Some of these allocations are locked up for at least 12 months. So we don't have that full 1 billion supply yet on market, and also it will not all be tradable. Brian, let's start with that. So 1 billion ape coins is the max supply here right now. 62% is going to the DAO and coin holders. And then we have the rest split between, the Yuga Labs, the parent company, the 4 founders, partners, and a charity, Jane Goodall, which she's well known for her work with apes. So I think that's very fitting, right? What do you make of that, the total supply and how it's kind of split up?
I kind of like it, and I think they were definitely smart because they're thinking ahead in the future. They're not thinking of well, of course they are, but a lot of companies, or a lot of projects rather, they think about right now, and most projects don't really last past maybe a month, 2 months. You'll see them on Twitter, they'll be boom. You'll see all these Telegram mods and all this other stuff, or Telegram emojis and all this crap going on, but they don't really last very long. So these guys are actually thinking ahead. They're doing something smart. They're restricting the flow because they know it's going to be big. They're not going to, be widespread or anything. They're doing it slow and steady, and they're going to win the race. I mean, this is a huge launch, and we can get into even farther later, but I think they're doing it the smart way.
Yeah, and so Brian, let's go on to the next part of this, right? Like I said, there's so many moving parts to this. So Apecoin was launched today, and it is already on several of the major crypto exchanges.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that I've never seen that before. You've been in the crypto space longer than me, Brian. You haven't seen this either, right?
They already have, like, the only place I didn't see their logo was on Uniswap, and I think that was it is there now. So yeah, they're already in MetaMask. The logo is already in MetaMask. It's already in Coinbase and FTX. This is probably hands down going to be the biggest launch we've ever seen. We've seen so far, and we will see for quite a while. I'm in. I just full transparency. I'll be buying more too, because this one's going to be big.
Is this where we give our disclosure? I should probably add that as well.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. I also own some Apecoin. I, of course, was not able to claim it because I do not own any of those assets, but I bought some on 2 different exchanges today, Brian. So you named a couple. Let me go through the list that I had in my article. So FTX, Coinbase, Binance, Gemini, Voyager, Kraken, and eToro, and there's others, but those are like the biggest ones. It's listed, it's live. Some of these had it live within like an hour or two. And I also like the marketing job done here, right? Because this Apecoin Twitter account launched last night. It already has 100,000 followers. And all these different crypto exchanges kind of tiered and put out, so every hour last night, Brian, we got a tweet from like a different exchange that said, hey, we're aping in, we're adding it to the platform tomorrow. And then, you know, an hour goes by and, you know, another one says, hey, buy Ape on our platform tomorrow. And then they all did the same thing again today. So, I mean, Apecoin's trending on Twitter. It's top of mind. I feel like they did a really good job with this launch of getting all their partners lined up and also getting all their partners to kind of, you know, share and kind of, you know, stagger the news here. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go all out, but they did it in some section. I mean, they're doing stuff that we haven't seen before, and hopefully a lot more projects, future projects, kind of go by this, like take their lead, and everything that these guys did. If you want to be successful, try to match it. I'm not even kidding. Just try to see what they did, how they did. I mean, not everybody's gonna be able to go to Coinbase, FTX, and Binance all in the first time without even having a token deployed yet. But I mean, publicly launched yet. But man, yeah, they did it right. I'm so impressed. But of course, it makes sense too, because they have the largest NFT project pretty much ever, and they have the money and the expertise. I mean, the best of the best are behind this. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, so exciting. So let's break down a little bit more. So the coin goes live today. So Ape holders could, you know, claim it. They have 90 days to claim. So on CoinMarketCap, they list a trading range of $1 to $39.40. I didn't see the $39. I think that was probably just someone getting stuck with an order out there. On Voyager, I see a high today of $16.74. And right now, we are trading at 773. It really has kind of held between the $7 and $9 level the majority of the day now. When it first started out, we were over $10 for quite a while. But it really seems to kind of be in that $7 to $9 range now. So let's take a look at exactly how many coins each NFT holder got. So these were the allocations. So if you owned a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you got 10,094 ape coins. If you owned a Mutant Ape Yacht Club, you got 2,042 ape coins. If you owned a Bored Ape Yacht Club and a Bored Ape Kennel Club, you got 10,950 coins. And if you owned a Mutant Ape Yacht Club and Bored Ape Kennel Club, you got 2,898. What do you make of that, Brian? So they had the, you know, if you owned a Bored Ape, you got the most. If you owned a Bored Ape with a dog, you know, you got rewarded. If you owned a mutant, you got some. And if you owned a mutant and a dog, you know, you got a little bit more. So we've been kind of anticipating what was going to happen, right? Would everyone get the same amount? Would the Kennel Club, you know, be advantageous for people to own? What do you make of kind of that breakdown there of the allocations?
That's something that ENS did. They kind of had it. So if you had multiple, I mean, they had a little bit more you could have, but if depending on the number of domains you have, correlates to the number of ENS tokens you got. And so each one, if you have a multiple of X amount of number, you also get a multiplier on top of that. So that would be with each different NFT you have, you get a multiplier. And yeah, I mean, even though the people who have apes are already, you know, pretty well off, you know, even if you just have one, that's more than a year's salary for most of the world. And if you have multiple or one of each, man, you just made bank. You didn't even just sell all of them. You can still hold a nice bag, and you know you still just bought a house. So you know there's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Brian, in a little bit, I'm gonna go all the way back, and we're gonna talk about if you minted a Bored Ape originally, how much you would have made. But just looking at the Apecoin launch today, if you were able to claim it this morning and then sell at that high of $16.74, let's just say hypothetically, this is how much you could have made. So if you owned a Bored Ape, just one Bored Ape, $168,973. If you owned a mutant ape, $34,183.
Our boy Ryan.
Ryan and Logan.
And Logan, yeah.
Logan's in the chat. Logan,
Logan
did you sell your ape coin? If you want to let us know, otherwise you can keep it to yourself. But I'm curious.
Everybody how much money you're worth.
Yeah, if you owned a Bored Ape Yacht Club and a Bored Ape Kennel Club, $183, $303. If you owned a Mutant Ape Yacht Club and a Bored Ape Kennel Club, $48,512. And if you owned one of all three, $217, $486. $217,486, Brian. If you owned all three and you sold. Oh, Logan didn't claim the airdrop yet.
He's still got his. Well, I mean,
you got honestly, 89 days, Logan.
Yeah, if you did it early and sold when it was high, yeah, you made some money. But I don't think that it's not going to be like ENS, definitely, because people want to hold on to this. ENS, they did all right, but it was definitely one of those that you got the airdrop and you got rid of it kind of thing. Maybe hold a little bit like I did, but it's worth it to get out and just hold some because ENS is going to be huge and worth it down the line. This one, though, it's, there was definitely anytime there's a listing, and especially from airdrop, there's always going to be that dump. I mean, people are selling, people are taking profits because it's practically free. And then you'll hold and people are going to keep going. Now you have all of people like us who didn't get in. Now we're buying, and now the price is going to start going. I mean, soon the market cap's going to reach, top 10 and stay there very, very soon. I mean, within a matter of days, if not weeks, if not days.
Yeah. Brian, before we move on, I do just want to update everyone. Michigan just won, so they move on. That is very exciting. So yeah, we have Tennessee later. So go blue. And also shout out to Logan in the chat for giving us that Apecoin update. All right, Brian. Well, let's get into some of what you were just talking about, right? So we have the what's next coming up, right? That Apecoin's going to have more use cases. But even before that, the market cap, right? So at its highest level today, it had a market cap of $16.7 billion. That would rank it number 13, even ahead of Dogecoin, Brian. Can you believe it? Apes at one point today were ahead of Doge. So now we have a market cap of what? Almost 8 billion, which would put it at number 21 by market cap.
I thought we were even farther down, and yeah, we're going to be the
21 right now, Brian. So you're predicting top 10 when?
By the end of next week.
Okay.
It's quick, but yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong, but I think by the end of next week, all right, I'll give myself a buffer by Monday. So that's 8 days or so, or a little bit more, but yeah. So not this Monday, but next Monday.
So Monday, the 28th.
Yeah. Before the end of the month, it'll be there. How about that? We'll go with that.
Okay. All right. Brian, I mean, I agree with you. And the reason I agree is so ENS was kind of like just a reward almost, right? But then they hadn't really built out like the use cases for that.
Yeah, you
token,
don't know what
right?
you're supposed to do with it. Yeah.
Same with like the SOS one, the DAO. Some of these ones that have launched this year, a lot of people claimed, and then you sold it, right? Because you couldn't really do anything with it. It's all about the future. To me, though, Yuga Labs has delivered. They have this history, and this coin isn't from Yuga Labs, but it's in partnership with them. This ApeDAO.
Well, they get about 16% as well as it going to charity. We're going to talk about the founders in a second, I think, but there's some pretty cool people behind it.
Yeah, on that board for the DAO. And so Brian, I mean, right away, already yesterday. So again, as part of that kind of marketing blitz of talking about the exchanges that are going to list Apecoin, we also got some companies that said they're going to utilize Apecoin. And one of them is Animoco Brands, which is the company that owns the Sandbox, which we've talked about the Sandbox a lot. They have a mobile game called Benji Bananas. It's been downloaded by over 50 million people. I am one of those people because I downloaded the game last night to play it and see what it was all about, Brian. It's swinging bananas on vine, or swinging apes on vines, trying to collect bananas. They are transitioning that mobile game into a free-to-play game tonight that will allow players who have an NFT the ability to turn bananas earned in the game into the Apecoin. So you can earn Apecoin for playing a mobile game, Brian. It is here. Apecoin is going to have all these use cases. That NFT tonight, there is a total of 5,000 passes being sold at 9 p.m. Eastern time. 25 Apecoin per pass is the cost on those. So we're at what, $7.77. Let's call it $8.25. That's what, $200 for one of these NFTs. If you own it, you are able to then play the game, earn bananas, turn those bananas into Apecoin. There it is on screen. Brian, there's only 5,000. I think they're going to go fast. I'm still probably going to try to grab one. That was actually one of the reasons why I bought Apecoin today, because I want to be able to maybe buy this pass, because then I can play this game and I can earn more Apecoin, right?
Can we drop a link in the chat for it?
What's that? Oh, yeah. So it's on the Benji Bananas.
There we go.
Did Alyssa drop it? Boom, Alyssa's got it. There's the link right there. So 25 Ape. So you have to connect your wallet. So you would have to make sure, you have your Ape token in your MetaMask or your wallet in order to buy this. And again, 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So Brian, this is the first of them, right? We're going to get more games that are going to utilize this. To me, that is just a perfect example of the use case, right? Apecoin's not going away, right? Yuga Labs is going to use it for future projects, right? So maybe the next time they do like a launch like they did with Mutant Ape and, everyone got a free claim that owned a Bored Ape, but they also did a public mint. Maybe the next time they do one of these, you have to have Apecoin in order to mint, right? They could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I just feel like, like you said, it could go higher, because there's going to be, more examples. There was also like a digital property company where you can use Ape token to buy the parcels of land or property. I also saw there's a NFT marketplace that's going to utilize Apecoin. I think we're going to get more announcements.
And then Reddit since the founder of Reddit's on there, you would think that they might be on there too. I mean, they will utilize Apecoin in some way, some fashion, or something,
Yeah, and so Brian, here's my question, right? Is like, if you're an existing NFT project or you're an existing mobile game, right, and you want to grow, and let's say you've had on your roadmap or as part of your plan that you were going to launch your own token. Would it be wise, instead of launching your own token, maybe you try to partner with ApeDAO, or at least make it to where people can use Ape in your ecosystem, because it's already built out, it's already existing, you don't have to do the work?
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a handful of projects that do that. We have a regular Twitter space with Everrise, and they have something like that. Where you can launch your token there and utilize their ecosystem and their community and everything to pretty much power your own project, and it's pretty successful, and you get the backing of a secure, awesome protocol just like Apecoin. And Apecoin, from reading through their governance and their form, which is what I've been trying to pick out a few little things, where they'll have staking and different things. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of stuff in the ecosystem, just like Shiba Inu has too. So yeah, I would definitely think about that. That would be on the top one or two ways I would launch something for sure.
All right. So Brian, let's pause here a minute from all of our notes and let's talk about some of the comments that we are getting here. So this one was one that we already kind of mentioned, but I want to highlight Phil's mind here. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. They got on every exchange in under 24 hours. That is bullish AF. Phil, I agree, right? And that's what Brian and I have been saying. I've never seen this in the space. I think that is a great thing, but it also in return made it easier for people to maybe sell Apecoin too, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't have to worry about, as much of the swapping, all that. So someone here asked, why did it fall so fast? So I think that goes back to, the fact that people that have owned a Bored Ape, some of them have owned for a long time, right? And if you own just one Bored Ape, you didn't want to sell it this whole time, right? Because it gets you into, the yacht party. It gets you access to all these other projects. So, I mean, let's say you bought a Bored Ape, after the Mutant Ape drop. You haven't really gotten a ton since then. You got like the Adidas drop and some other stuff. But this could have been your way to kind of liquidate and, make some money back. Instead of having to sell your Bored Ape, you can sell that Apecoin. So, I mean, Brian, if I owned a Bored Ape, I probably would have sold part of that position today, yeah, I mean, right? That's a huge amount.
That's part of this process. Like so the highest, according to CoinMarketCap, the highest it got to was $20.04. So that was when it launched. And like we just said, or what Chris just said, it's now accessible on a bunch of different exchanges. It's not just accessible only on a DEX, which is a lot of these DAOs and projects are. They start on the DEX and then move to centralized exchanges, but it's actually quite the opposite. So what happened was everyone got theirs, and of course there's going to be profit taking because that's how it works. That's just it. No matter which way you look at it, no matter who you are, you're never going to have a point wherever it goes off, it'll run and doesn't come down. I mean, that's just, people are going to take profits. No one's going to say no to that kind of money. I mean, it's impossible. It's just not human nature. It's just not how trading or the investments work. So, you'll have that major dip and now it's going to steady. What's really bullish and what's really cool about this is even though it's only been a day, you see how it's going horizontally and not quite so drastically up and down. We're not seeing a lot of manipulation in it, which is a pretty good sign, in my opinion, when it comes to, these instant launch, any crypto. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Again, I feel like they did so well with this launch. And I mean, in an ideal world, right? I mean, maybe ideal, everyone would have just held on to the coin, right? And not sold it. But also that limits the amount of liquidity and other people being able to get in. I mean, myself included, right? I don't own any of these assets. Buying Apecoin today, I did for several reasons, Brian. I mean, I did it because I want a chance to maybe buy that NFT later to play to earn game. I did it because I want to be part of the Bored Ape ecosystem. I want access to, maybe future mints, future projects. And I also did it because I think the value is going to go up once we get through, some of this selling, by claim holders, right? And I don't know the percent of people that, claimed it. I mean, we know at least one person in our chat, I won't name any names, didn't claim it yet, right? But they have 89 more days. I'd be curious to see, maybe how that breaks down. Did 50% of people claim it today? Was it only 25%? Because then maybe we know how much more selling is going to happen in the short term. But so let's get to the next part here. I think in my notes is sales volume, right? So they announced this yesterday. And after they announced this, Brian, I mean, we knew what was going to happen, right? As soon as they said the amount of coins that everyone was going to get, sales volume picked up in all three of these assets, right? Because people that owned a Bored Ape rushed out to, buy a Bored Ape kennel. People that owned a Mutant Ape, same thing. Maybe you rushed out to get a kennel club as well. And I mean, sales volume in the last 24 hours, Bored Apes, 51.9 million, up 1,500%. Mutant Apes, 32.6 million, up 578%. And Kennel Club, 12.7 million, up 858%. I mean, Brian, Bored Apes is huge. They're expensive. It takes a lot to get a 1,500% increase in sales volume in 24 hours. That is a pretty staggering number. And I mean, I watched the sales last night. Like, this was trading at like 70. I mean, we talked about these assets on the show yesterday. think they were trading at like 76 ETH. They hit over 100 last night, the floor price, because they sold so fast on this news. Were you paying attention to the sales volume, Brian, and you could kind of see this?
No, I didn't actually see it. I was paying attention to how I could get Apecoin early, but of course I didn't make it.
Yeah, and to answer Strictly Sports in the chat, there is 5,000 of the Benji Banana NFT passes available tonight. That is called the first wave or first something. So my guess is there's going to be more in the future since they're using the word first. But 5,000 passes, I'm guessing they are going to go fast. So Brian, on the flip side of that, right, we saw sales volume, increase a ton last night. Well, then after the claim happened today, we saw the floor drop because some people then sold their Bored Apes, right? Because you already got your claim in, you have your Apecoin that you either are holding or selling, and you could sell your Bored Ape for, probably a profit. So it dropped again down to like 76 ETH. I mean, I would have been a buyer at that level. But what do you think? I mean, they've already recovered quite a bit. We're back up to 89, Brian. Are you surprised that A, it dipped that much, and B, that it recovered that quickly?
I'm a little surprised it recovered that quickly, yeah. Just because the asset values are ridiculously high. So, yeah, I mean, it is kind of surprising. But, nothing surprises me in this. Even with this market right now being completely in the tank, it's not too crazy because it's Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah. No, I mean, excellent point. And again, it's been really fun to just kind of watch this, along the way. And, as Brian and I said, able to buy some as well. And I'm still looking, as it dips a little bit more to, maybe get some more. This is a team and a project that I believe in. I think we're going to get more. And in that regards, I mean, the ApeDAO that launched this, they created this initial board. And I mean, the board doesn't have like extra necessarily like ownership, right? Because of the DAO structure, but they are in charge of administering the DAO decisions made by the community. And these are some pretty big names. So we have Alexis Ohanian, who's the co-founder of Reddit, the founder of 776, big name in the NFT space. We have Amy Wu, who's the head of gaming at FTX, of course, the sponsor of this show. We have Maria Bajwa, who's a principal at Sound Ventures. Yat Su, who is the co-founder and chairman of Animoca Brands. And Dean Steinbeck, the president of Horizon Labs. So, I mean, Brian, huge names. I mean, Alexis Ohanian is huge, 776, founder of Reddit. He owns, a CryptoPunk, a ton of other NFTs. You heard me say, he was an early investor in the Skyweaver game. We've got the co-founder of Animoca Brands, which owns, the Sandbox. They own other companies. We got FTX Gaming. We got Horizon. What do you think of this board here?
All-star cast.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way this is gonna. I mean, that's another thing. This project probably has some of the greatest people it could possibly have in it. And that's what means there's no way this thing isn't gonna be super successful. I mean, it'd be stupid to think, and again, not financial advice, but it'd be very stupid to think that this is gonna stay at $7 very long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and we can do that every week now. I mean, because this is tied into the Bored Ape ecosystem, and I mean, anyone who has watched the show, for a while knows that we talk about Bored Ape a lot, and the reason we do is because it is so massive. So, Brian, I mentioned that I don't own any Bored Apes, and I bought the coin today as my way in. I do want to back up for a minute. I mean, we've talked about a company on this site or on this show called Rally. They are a fractional investing site, and they offer access to some NFTs. And through Rally, I am the co-owner of one Bored Ape Kennel Club, 2 Mutant Ape Yacht Clubs and 4 Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. And they put out this tweet last night, Brian, snapshot in progress with the $ape. So, Brian, what do you think that means? Do you think, because they obviously, for owning those assets, got to claim Apecoin, do you think that they claim the Apecoin, and how will they distribute that then to shareholders of these NFT assets?
That's to be seen, I guess. That's I guess a hard question to answer. I don't know.
Yeah, and here's my guess, right? Is that I guess that they're going to claim the Apecoin, or they already did. And then I would guess that because not everyone, you don't have your wallet connected on Rally, right? That they will sell the Apecoin and then they will distribute it as essentially dividends to the owners of those assets based on the number of shares you own. That's my guess. And that also gets me excited, Brian, because like I said, I own some of these assets. So let's pull some of those up on screen here. Starting with the Bored Ape Kennel Club. Brian, I believe you said that you own shares of this as well. This is a newer asset on Rally. I believe they limited it. You could only get 2 shares.
Yeah, I only got 1.
Okay. So, I mean, again, owning this and then owning some of those other assets increase the amount of, Apecoin. There is another Bored Ape that I own shares of, not the whole thing. Let me clarify there. There's another one. And again, I paid like $5 to $10 a share for these. There's my Trippy for one. That's pretty sweet. That is a rare. This is the Captain's Hat. That is one that's on Rally that I actually do not own. I believe it was the first one that they offered on there. It sold out. I missed the window. That is the astronaut one, another sweet looking one here. And then we get to the mutants, right? So there is one that I own shares of, and then there is one more mutant here. That one I do not own shares of, but this next one with the parrot, that is probably one of my favorites out there. I also own a pin of that Rally you could buy along with your shares. So Brian, I mean, again, these fractional sites now kind of have this. I mean, I wouldn't call it a dilemma, but when I talked to Rob, the co-founder of Rally, for an interview with Benzinga, one of the questions I asked him was, hey, you're going to list CryptoPunks and Bored Apes on Rally. What happens if those assets are monetized for a TV show or a movie? Where will that money go? Will it be, given back to shareholders? Will it be, how will it be used? And he told me it will be given back to shareholders. So, I mean, your ownership of these shares on these fractional sites, I think makes it to where we're going to get some sort of dividends and paid out for owning these. I mean, so again, Brian, I mean, I put in, a couple $100 in, different assets here. I could actually make my money back just from some of these Apecoin allocations. Now, that's pretty exciting considering I wasn't able to buy a whole Bored Ape or a whole mutant ape. But because I was involved in that ecosystem, I now get rewarded as part of this job.
Mm-hmm. That is, I mean, that's exciting too.
Yeah. I mean, it's very exciting all the way around. And another exciting thing is Voyager, one of the launch partners today for Apecoin. They put out a tweet. I always like to share these, right? Because I'm not a selfish guy. When there is giveaways that, are going to happen, I want our viewers and listeners to be able to participate. Well, it hasn't officially been announced yet, but Voyager put out this tweet, and it is their new profile picture. It is this sweet looking mutant ape, and it says, it won't be ours for long. Heard through the ape vine, we're giving it away. Stay tuned. Go ape on Invest Voyager. Brian, what do you make of that? Do you think that they are going to give this away then to someone who owns Apecoin on Voyager? Do you think they're just going to give it away to one of their, users? How do you think they do this giveaway here based on the fact, those last couple words that said, go ape on Voyager? Do you think that means anything?
So, yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself because I wanted to be a part of this too. So I couldn't figure it out. I would think that it would be a holder on Voyager. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, Brian, I've seen a lot of mutant apes, and I have to say that the trait on this, the robot fur, I kind of like this. You know, I spend a lot more time looking at the bored apes than the mutant apes. And these mutant apes have really cool traits too. And I mean, I feel like a lot of them look very common or very similar in the face, but some of these other traits, like that robot fur, I think look sweet. So I, of course, will be, you know, hopefully entering this giveaway. I do have an account with Voyager. I may also own some Apecoin through Voyager. So I believe that's going to give me, you know, the possibility to, oh, we got Logan in the chat. Okay, we've got to do this. Review my mutant, he says. Now, I know I saw this a while back, but I haven't looked recently. So mutants, what is it, 383 here? If we can get that. All right. Let's see.
So full screen that baby.
So we have M2 yellow background, 3%. M2 navy stripe clothes, 0.76. M2 bloodshot eyes, 2%. M2 pink fur, 1%. M2 fisherman's hat, 0.79. And M2 tongue out, 0.42. 1, 2, 3 sub 1% traits. Love it. I mean, there you hear, yeah, looks rare. Logan's already saying. Brian, you go first here. What do you think of this mutant ape from our bud Logan?
I mean, I like it. I think I've said this on this show before. I there's really not one that I don't like, and so I'm just gonna go with the things I do like about it. Like, are I was gonna say kind of subjectively, but you know, it's what to each their own because who knows what makes anything more valuable. But I like the brain on the top. You actually almost just had it right when I was talking about it. But I like the brain on the top because where how you can see it's transparent. I think that's really cool. I can't tell if it's tentacles or like seaweed or whatever his face is, but I like the I like that, and I like the drippiness of the shirt. So this one is I would say that it's one of the ones that I find more attractive than the others too, because I like that solid yellow background. There was one trait that I really liked more than any of the others. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I think it was the where it was one of them was like transparent, the full thing, like a ghost maybe,
Yep.
and glowing or maybe electricity. But yeah, I like Logan's. I like Ryan's too. I like both of them. I mean, there's not one I don't like.
Yeah, and Brian, that tongue out trait, again, it's a sub 1%. There's only 77 that have that particular trait. It's a 35 ETH floor. I do like the pink fur, how it kind of essentially turns it into like a brain style, right? I've always liked, you know, some of the colored fur traits on the regular Bored Ape collection as well. I agree with Alyssa, though. I think in the chat, the shirt, I think, and you said it too, Brian, the shirt is got to be probably my favorite part of this mutant. You know, the drippiness of it. Again, it's a sub 1% trait. I'm a huge fan of this. And Logan said in the chat he was able to get this back in November. Yeah, yes. 35 ETH floor on that mouth on OpenSea right now. Gotta call my mom.
Let's see how much it was in November. Let's see how much he paid for it.
I thought he said 6 in the chat, Brad. I think he said 6.
6,000?
No, 6 ETH.
Oh, 6,000. 6,000. Dang, dude.
Yeah, no, I think 6. Yeah, this has been fun. This is a cool segment review of my mutant. We love doing this when we went through, you know, Wonderpals and some of these other assets. So that is very exciting. Here is another topic for debate, Brian. And I mean, I feel like this one, it doesn't deserve a ton of time because Yuga Labs and ApeDAO have already kind of had this token in the works, right? This has been known that it was going to happen eventually. Well, then last week we got the news that Yuga Labs was acquiring the rights to CryptoPunks and Meebits. So CryptoPunks holders then got their rights, which Larva Labs had not given them before. That was a big win for those holders, right? But also now those assets are kind of part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem, right? CryptoPunks and Meebits. There is some comments out there of, asking, okay, why wasn't there some sort of minor allocation of Apecoin for CryptoPunk and Meebit holders? I'm on the fence on this one, Brian.
I could this is what, from my logical standpoint, what I would think. This is already all decided way before. I mean, Yuga Labs was bought, 3 days ago, a couple days ago.
Friday.
So this is already established way before, that was even on the table, I bet. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of, there's no way they could make that happen.
Do you think, though, like it could have been like a missed opportunity to maybe like extend this out, wait a little bit to do the claim, and then, so you gave what? Bored Apes got like 10,000 ape coins, Mutants got 2,000. What about giving Punks holders and Meebit holders, maybe, I don't know, it probably wouldn't mean a ton, but a couple hundred Apecoin or something.
Yeah,
do you think that would have been like a good gesture to like tie them into the ecosystem?
Yeah, it wouldn't. I don't think it. Yeah, I think it wouldn't mean too much. It wouldn't have that much of an effect. But the other thing about CryptoPunks is they were using the contract has been updated a handful of times too. So it having a snapshot of which punk you have or which version, because it's kind of a little convoluted there. But if you look back, they've had to do multiple things to it and change things a little bit. So I don't know if they could easily do it, but they probably could find a way. I don't know if it's even worth, because they had goals, deadlines. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think that it has anything to do with it. I don't think it would affect anything. I don't own a punk or a Meebit, so, it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah. I think that, since it was bought only a couple of days ago, there's no reason to delay anything or change the whole game just to give a couple 100,000 tokens away, if that. I mean, there's a bunch of wallets with punks that aren't even accessible anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, and like Brian, I mean, this debate could go on forever. Like I'm on the fence. I feel like there's always been kind of this divide, and we've done it on the show, right? Punks versus apes, right? When are apes gonna flip punks? Are punks a buy still, or would you rather own an ape? I feel like that acquisition kind of made apes and Meebits, more valuable and good future use case. I wonder if there's any, punks and Meebit owners out there that are a little, bitter, or a little, hey, how come we didn't get this? We're part of your, your team, your ecosystem now. But I think really the timing, like you said, is the biggest reason why. We got a question in the chat here. Is now a good time to buy? Not financial advice. You heard it earlier. Brian and I both said we do own some Apecoin, and I've got my reasons. Brian has his. I think it's going to go higher, and the reasons why are there's going to be more use cases with these mobile games, these play to earn games. I think we're going to hear more about upcoming uses from Yuga Labs, and I just think people are going to be more excited about it, and they can get into that ecosystem now through owning Apecoin. So for those reasons why I think it is, but again, that is not financial advice, just my opinion. Brian, here we go. So on to, I think this is the last part now about talking about Apecoin. I mean, holy cow, almost the whole show, which we knew was going to happen, or at least I thought.
Yeah, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so Bored Apes minted last year, right? I mean, it hasn't even been a full year. April 2021. 0.08 ETH was the cost. It was around $236 to buy a Bored Ape at mint. I mean, it varied depending on which day you minted, because again, these did not sell out in their first day. Okay, so if you bought a Bored Ape for $236, here's what you would now have. You would own a Bored Ape, a Mutant Ape, a Bored Ape Kennel, and you would own 12,992 Apecoin if you still own.
Not to forget if you had a serum.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this is just like floor prices, you know, because I mean, yeah, you could have hit a rare on, you know, any of these things. So 12,992 Apecoin. Okay. So right now the floor prices are 89 ETH for a Bored Ape, 17.8 ETH for a Mutant Ape, 6.25 ETH for a Bored Ape Kennel. So just taking the three NFTs together, that is 113.05 ETH, which is around $317 or $317,670 today off of a $236 mint. Then if you add in the Apecoin, so if you sold your Apecoin at the peak today, your three NFTs plus the Apecoin sales would give you a value of $535,156. If you didn't sell Apecoin and you still own it, if you own a Bored Ape, a Mutant Ape, a Bored Ape Kennel Club, and 12,992 Apecoins, you now have a value of $421,216. Brian, holy shit. $236 to mint a Bored Ape, and now you are worth a cool $500,000 pretty much. What do you make of that?
I kind of hate it.
Yeah, right.
I'm pissed that I didn't jump in when I could have. You know, there's so many different times that I could say that. So I'm hoping that I think Apecoin is a good opportunity to kind of make some of that stuff back up. So I think for me that it's a good buy, and you know, it's where I'm going to actually hold a lot of my crypto for now personally, but there's going to be plenty more. There's a ton of different projects coming out, and who knows when the next one will happen, but you know, stay tuned to the roadmap, and we'll maybe help you catch that next one before it takes off and leaves us all behind. We didn't have the roadmap whenever you know, Bored Ape Yacht Club was.
I know. If I could have found this, that would have been really exciting. So again, those figures, guys, I just want to go through this one more time. And again, I mean, it's not meant to like make everyone sad or, you know, talk about FOMO too much, but it's really to just provide that education of really how far we've come in a year's time. So Bored Apes were 0.08 ETH to mint, around $236. If you owned a Bored Ape, you got a serum that you could turn into a Mutant Ape. You got a Bored Ape Kennel Club. And then you also got the equivalent of 12,992 Apecoin today. Based on the current values before this show started, that's $421,216. You also got, I mean, not included in that, there was the Adidas drop that you got first access to or whitelist if you owned a Bored Ape. I think you probably could have made like another ETH or two through that. You also got first access to some of these whitelists on some of these, you know, ape derivatives and, you know, other projects launched by ape holders. So that's not even included in that. You also got to go to a pretty cool yacht party last year, right? Have this party on the boat. You got a concert and, you know, a comedy show from some of these, you know, ape holders and celebrities. And they got more planned, you know, for this year. So, I mean, really, you have been rewarded along the way. So shout out to any OG Bored Ape owners that may be watching the show or listening. We'd love to hear your story and have you on someday. First off, if you are one of those people. And yeah, in the chat, it says, anyone invent a time machine yet? I mean, Brian, I've always heard that, and we've seen that in movies, right? If you could go back in time, you know, what would you do? And sometimes
no, you can't. You can't mess with the stock market. That's like rule number one.
Right. Some people say stocks, right? They say, "Oh, I'd go back and buy Apple stock," right? Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people would probably say, "Yeah, I'd go back and mint some Bored Apes," right?
Oh yeah, perhaps 100%.
I mean, I did an article not too long ago, Brian, that was if you invested $1,000 in Bored Apes, so you could have bought 4. You would have won a couple, or you would have had a couple $1 million now back on your investment. That is just insane. From $1,000. So again, I mean, huge. Well, we're running out of time. I mean, we had a little bit more planned, but I've loved interacting with the chat as well. Some great questions out here. I do want to remind everyone, if you are new here, The roadmap airs Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time, live on YouTube. You can also watch this on replay on Benzinga's YouTube channel anytime at your convenience. And we are also available as a podcast on all major podcast platforms. So feel free to watch, listen, or whatever. And we'll be back next week, with some more interviews and more news, and also to take a look at some upcoming projects. And again, a shout out to our sponsor, FTX. Brian, I think we've got time to get to a couple news items. I do think, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait to take a look at some of these upcoming projects until next week because we are running out of time. But one we talked about yesterday and the last couple interviews with Solana legend was Photo Finish, a horse racing game. Third Time Entertainment, which is the studio that owns that game, they raised $3.5 million yesterday in funding to develop their mobile and browser-based blockchain games. And I mean, some of the investors, Reciprocal Ventures, Folius Ventures, Big Brain Holdings, Sixth Man Ventures, and Maven Capital, none of those really jump out probably to most of our viewers and listeners. But here's a name that a lot of people know that invested in Photo Finish, Coinbase Ventures. Does anyone out there know Coinbase? So Coinbase is getting into Photo Finish. I mean, I don't know, Brian, not financial advice, but the fact that Coinbase is getting in before this game launches, it makes me a little bullish here. What do you think of that news?
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those no-brainers.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, Photo Finish is also built by some former Electronic Arts executives. So they have gaming experience. They worked for EA. They worked for Zynga. We also saw the Zed Run game. That was one of the big NFT launches last year that really got some people new to the space involved. And then it kind of died out over supply issues and other NFTs. Well, Photo Finish is started on the Solana blockchain. They have breeding. They haven't started the racing yet. It's one that I definitely have been looking at. And the fact that they're getting funding here makes me really excited. The other news item, real quick before we head out here, is Wonderpals, which I am a owner of a Wonderpal NFT. They had their first ever Wonder Rally yesterday, a Twitter Spaces. So they shared an update that kind of broke down some of the things. They're hiring a part-time illustrator. They added some people to the team. They're working on an e-commerce site, apparel, mugs, stickers, and more coming soon. Plushies coming soon. That's something I think some of these, Q and PFP style NFTs could do a better job of, is kind of your plushies and like almost your kids merchandise, right? I mean, my kids are getting more excited about NFTs. They also said that they're going to do some collaborations and giveaways to grow the brand. And they will also be doing events every week on Wednesday and some giveaways in their Discord. And they also are designing Microverse, which is their new Wonderland in the Microverse. So that is pretty exciting as well. Brian, what do you think? Was this enough released and announced from Wonderpals to build some more excitement in this project?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean that's we're gonna see some movement there and a lot of cool things to come out of this whole group for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, we will be talking about some upcoming projects next week. So you heard Brian say we didn't get into Bored Ape, we missed out, but maybe we can find not necessarily the next Bored Ape, but maybe the next, hit project or the next one that should be on people's radar, right? We'll be looking at those next week. So make sure to come back. I do want to make sure everyone knows to stick around after the show. If you're watching live, we have our new Making Money with Benzinga Pro show happening next. And then after that, we have pre-market prep at the close with Spencer and Joel breaking down all the top stories and movers in stocks and crypto today. Brian, anything to leave off or any more notes on that Making Money with Benzinga Pro show coming up next?
No, we're good to go. Get a trial of Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com. sign up, 2 weeks free, no credit card required. You can maybe make some money and make enough to purchase a whole year of Pro if you play it right and learn how to do it. So check it out, learn how to use Pro, watch it, make some money.
Definitely. All right. Well, you heard Brian. Sign up, free trial, Benzinga Pro, and you can find out more on the next show coming up right now. Take care, everyone, and we will talk to you next.